Vamos a empezar con nuestro primer speaker invitado. Él es Danny Strode, experto en cultura, innovación y estrategia. Con más de una década de experiencia en el mundo corporativo, ha trabajado en organizaciones como director de cultura y estrategia en el grupo del Banco Santander, donde lideró transformaciones culturales en 32 países y más de 220,000 empleados, llevando a la banca de una operación física a una digitalización. Su extensa experiencia en empresas de alto rendimiento también ha dejado 2 libros, The Culture Advantage y The Innovation Edge, que además son una oferta valiosa a las perspectivas sobre cómo impulsar la innovación a través de la cultura y cómo afrontar el cambio que hoy nos está rodeando. Así que nuestro primer speaker, Daniel, bienvenido, por favor. Esta charla es auspiciada por MUMA. Su nombre es Impulsando Inteligencia Artificial en el Entorno Profesional Moderno. Bienvenido.
Well, many thanks for having me, and it's so great to be here. And as you can imagine, everyone wants to talk about artificial intelligence, okay? But I'm not going to talk to you today about the artificial intelligence that you know. So I'm not going to talk about data centers. I'm not going to talk about chips. I'm not going to talk about, the race for large language models. I'm going to talk about something way, way, way more important. This is something you have to embrace if you want to be successful in the world of AI. I'm going to talk about the culture, the work culture that you need in your companies. Now, I have a question for you, and put your hands in the air. If you ever go to bed at nighttime and you wake up in the morning and you think, wow, the world is spinning faster ever than before. Okay, good, everybody. And it's true, the world is going faster than ever. We're living in a 4th industrial revolution. We're living in a world where digital technology is going through the roof. Customer expectations are increasing. Hyper-personalization is on the table. We are seeing technologies going at breakneck speed. And one of those, of course, is artificial intelligence. And what I want to share with you, really, is to say the world of work has changed, and it's going to keep changing. We've moved from Web 1, which was a static internet, through Web 2, which was an internet where you could do some interaction. So that's your social media, those kind of things. And we're now in the world of Web 3, which is really important for workplaces. It's a world where the physical and virtual environments converge and come together. And it's not easy, but does anyone remember the first websites that we used to have? This was eBay, 1997. Kind of cool, right? A bit out of date right now. But digitalization is in our DNA, okay? This is who we are now. We are first. And what you can see in China is that they have these walking lanes for people who want to walk along the street with their mobile phones without being knocked over by a car or other pedestrians. The environment is changing. And I go through airports like you wouldn't imagine. You've all seen this picture, haven't you? People glued to their mobile phones. But look, pay attention closely. You also see this. Okay, so somebody tells me, well, maybe this lady's taking a photo of the baby, but I don't think so. I think this reality is the reality we're living. Everything more and more digital. And you blink your eye and you feel that the world has changed. Okay, the pace of change is so rapid, and it is complex, and the change that we're facing is hard to understand. We have to keep on top of it every single moment of every single day. And there's good news and bad news because of technology. The good news is humans are living longer, healthier lives because of technology. But the bad news is companies, and all of your companies, are living shorter lives because of this change. And you can see here in the red, the average lifespan of companies is going way down. And in blue, the lifespan of humans is going way up. Now, there is a solution to this problem that we face. And the solution is culture. I have a really good friend who's Gary Ridge. You probably have his product in your homes, right? WD-40. Yeah, I'm seeing everyone nodding. You know this product. It's the most successful oil in the world. Now, he told me a great story. He told me, Dan, If you want to win in the world of work, you need people to make you win. He told me you can have a wonderful strategy, but if you have a low will of the people and a bad culture, your outcome is going to be bad. But if you have a medium strategy, but people who really love you and want to push, you're going to have great execution. And that's why culture is so important. And I always say, culture is king. You know, this is the reality that we're living in. We've got technology flying at us left, right, and center, but culture is king. It's the thing that makes you survive. Now, you all know WeWork as a company, as a brand. This was a $47 billion company at one point, and it went bankrupt. Why? Because they got their culture wrong. And I'm sorry if there's anyone from WeWork here or was working in WeWork many years ago, but you will have felt it. You will have felt the toxicity in the company. Adam Newman, who was the founder, he was leading a cult. Whatever he said went. He had a private jet. He had a penthouse suite, and the employees could see that. He used to walk around the office firing people as he wished. That was creating a very bad culture. And this is an example of when you don't pay attention to culture, what can go wrong, even if you have the best people, the best technology, and lots of money. And so, on the reverse side of that, there is a solution, and it is good culture. Culture is the antidote to this hyper change that we're all facing. And I'm going to share some principles with you, but you all know that an antidote gets to the root of a problem, right? It kills the cause of the problem. It solves the roots. And your culture is the roots of your company. The culture that you have in your company is what makes you live, makes you breathe, makes you grow, makes you change. That is why it's so important. It's how your people operate on a day-to-day. So if you want to embrace AI, how do you do that? You build your culture. Now, does anybody here want to shout out at me, what is normally the most expensive asset or the highest cost line in a business? Does anybody know what costs a business the most? People, yes. So up to 60% of costs are related to your people. So does it not make sense to you that you would invest in your people? Does it not make sense that your most expensive asset you work on and you try to foster? Imagine if you don't do that. And there's many of you in the room that are not paying attention to this, and you should be. So why do I say this? I say this because I've been around the world looking at what makes great companies tick. And I've published this book this month in Spanish. And it explains you what are those cultural aspects you need. And I'm going to share 3 of them with you today. So the first is a growth mindset, okay? It's about a company or a person who wants to fail well and learn as they go along. And this is a foundational pillar. Now, Carol Dweck is a professor in the university in the US, and she basically said there's 2 types of people and 2 types of company. Those who have a growth mindset and those who have a fixed mindset. And the growth mindset are people who want to learn, people that want to take risks, people that are not afraid of failing. And that's so important when we're dealing with AI, because AI is not plug and play. It doesn't work straight away. AI is test and learn. It's try new things. It's take challenges, try to evolve, learn from our mistakes. So we need to foster that growth mindset. And actually, IKEA is a brand you all know. I know it's here in Colombia. And they have this culture embedded into them. It's what's made them so successful. They want people to learn and grow their skills and capabilities. So if I'm thinking about new technology, we need to do the same. We need to learn and grow. But it's not just IKEA. It's Microsoft. You know, I see the Microsoft building just out of the window. And they have exactly the same mentality. The CEO came in and he said, I want to move from a culture of know-it-alls to a culture of learn-it-alls. So instead of people who are correct all of the time and so secure and sure of their opinion, I want people to experiment and learn. And actually, if you put into contrast what happened with the previous CEO of Microsoft, who had the know-it-all behavior, they actually destroyed shareholder value. The new CEO came and said, we're going to grow and we're going to try things as an organization. And you see 1,000% returns ever since. And the final example about growth mindset that I want to share with you is Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Who's eaten Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Yeah, Okay, good. So it's a good brand. And I love them because they celebrate intelligent failure. And they've done something really wonderful in their office. And I know none of you are going to believe me right now, but I'm going to show you. They created in their headquarters a flavor graveyard. So a graveyard with tombstones of flavors that they tried to sell in the market and failed with. And they're promoting this growth mindset culture and this mindset of trying new things because they know without experimentation, we fail. And I know you don't believe me, but here's the photo. This is the graveyard. So as you walk into their offices, you see that every day. What do you see when you're in your offices? Do you see that? Probably not. So my question to you is, are you really pushing this growth mindset and this culture of learning and embracing new technology and trying new things? Or are you punishing failure? Do you tell people when they make a mistake, you go and update your LinkedIn profile, you're fired? I hope not. Now, the second thing is about adopting technology in partnership, okay? And this is a really, really important thing. We need to be thinking about how can we use technology to our advantage. And one of the great things that I need to transmit to you is just because you have digital technology does not make you digital, okay? Many of you have on your mobile phones tools that you've never used. Your parents have ChatGPT available to them and they've never used it. So just because you have something doesn't make you digital. If you want to be digital as a company, you need to change. You need to be real time, so you need to work in an agile way. You need to be more collaborative. You need to have different profiles of employees, profiles with technology skills. You need to learn and push the boundaries. So again, you need to make some changes in how your company functions. And I was here in Italy. You probably know Ferrari, right? If anyone has a Ferrari, come and speak to me. Now, I was there in their offices. This is their original office in Maranello. Wonderful place, and the founder of Ferrari, you can still see his office looks out onto the courtyard. And they're going through a massive change that I'm helping them with, which is they're moving from petrol engines to electric engines. So they're embracing technology, but of course a Ferrari with an electric engine doesn't sound like a Ferrari, does it? So they're having to embrace technology, they're having to try new things. And what they've decided to do is they've decided to partner with all of the companies you see here because they understand that they can't do it alone. They understand that they need help. They understand that they need to learn from other people. And I encourage you to think, for your companies, can you do the same? Can you learn from others? Can you think in different ways? And can you digitalize some of that value that you really have through technology? So if I told you there's a technology that can make you twice as productive in half the time and with better quality, would you be interested? Yeah, of course. That is artificial intelligence. Now, I like to look at artificial intelligence in a very specific way. I tend to think of it like maths. In life, in school, we have to go and we have to do maths, for better or for worse. I can't count, but that's life. And you have two exam papers. You have one which is a pen and a paper, and you have to do everything in your head. And you have another exam which you do with a calculator. When the calculator came out, nothing bad happened to society. The same with AI. You need to know the fundamentals of your business. I can't teach you those things, but I can teach you how to interpret the outcomes and then add the human flavor to it. And that's AI. AI can help you like a calculator, but humans need to analyze the outputs, take action, make decisions, and adjust the course. So I look at it through those two lenses, not as some scary technology that we should be afraid of. And of course, you may have heard or seen the Gartner hype cycle. This is one that I made with ChatGPT, but we're probably in the peak of inflated expectations right now, and we're going to go down the hype cycle into the plateau. And basically, people are a little bit annoyed with AI right now. They've spent 18 months trying to put AI into their companies. They're not having good financial results, and I'm telling you why, because of their culture. But people are getting a bit nervous. People are not sure whether AI can take them to the next level, but that's good for everyone in this room because the ones who lead will be the ones who are most successful. And the reality is, in the world, only about half of the people have used AI themselves. And of the half of the people who've actively used it, half of them have only used it once. mostly because they went to ChatGPT and they thought it was Google and they just typed in a Google-like question. They didn't get to know the technology. So again, this is your advantage. This is your time to play, experiment, and learn. And I'm seeing a change already in the workforce. So I have this model here, which I'm basically calling the AI-powered workforce. It's the workforce of the future. You have different skills here. You have some leadership skills in the top right, and you have some operational skills in the bottom left. And the key is, in all of the jobs around the world, in every single company, you cannot tell me your company is unique because I've seen it all. Humans plus machine is the new mode of working. So I encourage you to think, are you adapting to this shift? And can you imagine humans working with AI are going to be the future? So if you're not, you're probably being left behind. And that really makes me sell my second point to you. Let's not think of machines as a replacement to people. That's the history. Machines have never replaced people. They've always changed our jobs. And we are stronger when we partner with technology. So just like Ferrari is doing, they are partnering with technology to go further. That's what I encourage you to do. So my question for you here is, do you have an AI strategy? Are you actively working on it? And how digital are you? Don't put your hand up. Just nod your head so only I can see it if you still print meeting agendas. Oh, a few of you. Okay, so don't print meeting agendas. Let's be digital. Let's be technology driven. And now my third thing, and this is a really third and final but very important point, is rethinking your business model. We're at the moment where AI can change entirely your customer experience. AI can change entirely your profitability. AI can change entirely the way you automate workflows. The question is, are you brave enough to rethink and challenge your business model? Challenge your assumptions in everything that you do. The best companies are doing that. And let me show you one. But does anybody know, and you can shout out again, which company this is? Yeah, who said that? Okay, we have a winner. So we found the genius in the room. There's always one. So this is Lego, a company that was founded in 1930s, and they started making wooden toys. Okay? It was a father and a son at the bottom of their garden who started making wooden toys. And I went to visit them in Billund in Denmark. Billund is the middle of nowhere, right? You only go there if you want to go to the Lego offices or the Lego environment. It's a really curious place. It's Lego, Lego, Lego. And they have a wonderful office. They're really innovating. They're really pushing things forwards. But they have this phrase on all of their walls. Now, I don't speak Danish, but I can tell you the translation. The translation is, only the best is good enough. Okay? Now, why is this their motto? Because one day the son was producing the toys in the shed at the bottom of the garden, and he ran to his father and said, "Papa, I'm so happy, I've saved us 30% of costs." And the father said, "What? How did you do that?" And the son said, "Well, instead of putting 3 coats of paint on the toys, I only put 2. And the father said, "Go to the train station, get them back, put the coat of paint on, and then reship them. Only the best is good enough." And that's their culture, that's their motto. But in the year 2000, more or less, they were about to go bankrupt. They had drifted away from their culture. They had drifted away from being an innovative company. So they hired a new CEO. Again, I won't pronounce his name, but Jorgen was hired as the CEO. And he took Lego through a massive cultural transformation, which ended up something like this. And you can see here, when he took over, their stock price and their sales were here. And this is where they are now. They've done a 10x in that period. Why was that the case? He rethought their business model. He said, if we are not competing with Meccano and Mega Bloks, we are actually competing for the children's market. And if children don't buy Lego, what do they buy? And they figured out that they buy a PlayStation or they go and watch movies. So if you spend your money there, you're not spending your money on blocks. So he changed the business and he said, we need to be more digital. We need to embrace technology. We need to look for new partnerships. We need to do movies. We need to do clothing. We need to do theme parks. And he challenged the assumptions. And that's what AI can do for your business. It can radically change everything in your business. And you need to challenge those assumptions. And so I leave you with the final idea really here. You've probably heard this phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's the worst thing you can do in the world. It's terrible management advice. And if you know who said it, please send them to see me because I want to tell them off. You need to break your business model. When you're in a position of strength, it's the best time to try things. It's the best time to invest in technology and in people and in culture. You have to do it, okay? So ignore this. Forget this phrase. It's outdated. It doesn't work. And so I say to you, the culture is the antidote to hyperchange. It's your only survival plan. It's going to be the thing that makes companies who have AI and companies who really embrace AI the losers and the winners. And I want you really to be the winners, because we cannot stop the world from moving. We cannot slow down the pace of change. We may or may not like it, but there's nothing we can do about that. And so I just leave you with a final thought, which is actually to triumph in the age of AI. It is not about the technology. Technology is everywhere. It's democratized. It's about how you implement it and the people and the culture that you have. That is your survival plan, and that is the way to be successful. So I leave you with a final gift now as my 20 minutes is finished. I leave you with the opportunity to take this test. It's a 15-question multiple choice test. And I will give you a personal response to help you improve your culture where you are not necessarily doing well on any of these three aspects, or to improve where you're doing really well. So I hope you take that opportunity. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you've got something great from today. Thank you very much.
Me encantó la exposición porque realmente, no solo a nivel corporativo, todos yo creo que estamos con miedo de si la máquina, si la humanidad, y creo que esa alianza es fantástica. Mientras vamos a votar todos, ¿se acuerdan que tenemos las 3 preguntas más votadas? Es las que Daniel nos va a contestar. Daniel, para mí, no solo a nivel corporativo, sino en el colegio, en la educación, en el día a día, lo que decías de los papás que tienen, no utilizarlo es quedarse atrás, ¿verdad? O sea, dar el paso es el primer paso importante.
Yeah, for sure. So I think this is the biggest risk that we have as society, is having a class of people who are using the technology and a class of people who are not embracing the technology. And if we don't start to change the way we're doing things, we can't expect the same outcomes. So I'm teaching in IE University in Madrid, that is a very prestigious university, and we are focused entirely upon how do we change the education experience for learners who want to test and learn things with the machine, who want to have their questions answered, have their feedback given to them. And it's a very, very powerful tool. So I think we have to push.
Ok, gracias. Y ahora sí vamos con la primera pregunta que encontramos acá. ¿Cuál es una manera sencilla de empezar a replantear nuestro modelo de negocio? De las primeras más votadas.
So I think if you want to change your business model, one of the easiest things you can do is go friction hunting, okay? So go searching for where you can find a friction or a tension or a point of difficulty for your clients or internally for your employees. And try to find that, and then think about, how would we do this if we were starting from scratch? If we had a blank piece of paper, how would we change that? What would we do? And put the lens of technology on that. So say, now we have these tools that we didn't used to have. What does the business look like? And I think that's a good first step.
Gracias. Y la siguiente pregunta subió: ¿cómo puede fomentar una cultura de aprendizaje continuo en mi equipo? ¿Cómo puedo fomentarlo?
Lead by example, okay? So really be the ones who show the employees it's safe to fail, safe to learn. So promote them to learn. Say, come on, come to events like this where you can listen to people and learn and take on new things. But when you make a mistake yourself, don't just hide it and not talk about it. Put your hand up and say, oh, I tried something, I failed, and this is the learning. And share that learning, because we can only change the culture by leading by example, by being the role models and being the change that we want to see.
Gracias. Y la tercera pregunta: ¿de qué manera se puede promover una mentalidad de crecimiento en mi equipo?
Aha.
The mentality.
This top one, right?
Yeah, the top.
Okay, so if you want to growth, did I answer this one already? Yeah.
No, it's kind of.
Can I take
Pero si
this?
quieres,
Can I
sí,
take
sí,
this third
sí,
one?
sí.
Okay. So technology, especially AI, is going to change all the jobs. Yeah. So I think this is my model that you saw with the 4 boxes. I think the key thing here is really to think about how can you be human plus machine working together, and understand that the technology is there to help you, not replace you. Understand that actually it's about how you use it, and you probably all have friends that use AI really well. And you probably have more friends that use it really badly. And the distinction between both of those are the ones who've spent time and invested effort in really trying the tools, experimenting. And it's good to do that because you can experiment now with small things. Try things that are small. Don't try to change your business or your life radically overnight, but step by step. And those changes done hundreds of times make a real big difference.
Gracias. Muchas gracias, Daniel. Un aplauso de nuevo para Daniel y su charla.
Thank you so much.